Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are changing things up a little bit. We're not in the camper. We are seated right beside the camper. And today we're going to be reviewing your truck campers. We obviously, Morgan and I both have our respective Tacoma truck campers. I have a 1998 Toyota Tacoma, 4-wheel drive, 5-speed with a GFC V2 Pro. Morgan, tell everybody what you rock.
I have a 2023 TRD off-road, also 4x4, and I have the V2, not the V2 Pro, and it is an early model V2. Quite a bit of differences between ours.
For you Go Fast Camper nuts, you know the differences between the generations of Go Fast Camper. And you guys have seen us camp in both of our rigs on this channel. If you guys haven't checked out some of those videos, we encourage you to go back and there are hundreds of truck camping videos if you guys want to check it out. Today, we're going to actually look at some of your truck campers. I had some of you guys send in some walk around videos explaining what you like, what you don't like about your rigs. And today we're going to do a deep dive on a handful of them and see what you guys, the viewers, think as well. So be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, any of the truck campers that you see, as well as leave some comments down below about your rig and what you like and don't like, as well as, what you think about the folks on the camera today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first walk around video that was sent in. This is from my buddy Luke. This is going to be his Toyota Tundra. So a good change up from the Tacoma.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Luke Keller out of Denver, Colorado. This is my 3rd gen Toyota Tundra truck camping setup. All right, I figured I'd start with the foundation. I'm running the Real Truck Backflip 4 bedroll with the T-Track mounts. Mounted in the T-Track, I have the Real Truck bed rack. On the driver's side, I have 2
I'm gonna stop right there. One thing I'm very envious of being a 1st gen Tacoma owner is I feel like the newer generation Tacomas as well as Tundras, just the new Toyota trucks, you guys all have cool mounting stuff on your rigs. And I mean, there's something to be said about a simple truck bed like the 1st gen Tacomas, but like Luke's got, rails that he can mount stuff to. And I'm always envious of that. And also envious, I've always loved this setup on truck campers. If I wasn't going to do the Go Fast Camper style with the pop tent, I was actually going to go with some sort of a bed rack mounted thing and then do a RTT rooftop tent on top, because I just think that looks super cool and also keeps your gear very separated. Like, one, it reduces, I think, the weight. I don't know exactly what the weight is on this stuff. I'm sure you can get a more intense rooftop tent and it's going to weigh more, plus whatever gear you attach onto it. Like Luke's got the Rotopacks on the side there. I just love the look of it. I think it keeps the truck bed very open, which is very nice. And I'm just a big fan of this, and definitely a route that I would have gone had I not done the Go Fast Camper. But let's jump back into Luke's video and see what else he's got.
Rotopacks mounted, 1 for water, 1 for gas. And then on the passenger side, I have 2 recovery boards mounted. And then my rooftop tent of choice is the Topoke Vision. I went with this tent because I wanted a hard shell rooftop tent that, when closed, would stay below my cab. So when this thing is closed, it stays below my cab height right there. I wanted this because I have to park in a parking garage for work every day. And then I didn't want to go with a different tent that would stick super far out behind my bed here. I just wanted everything nice and compact. A couple things that I really like about.
Before we hear about what Luke really likes, another cool thing is that was something on my design. If had I gone with this route, was I love the idea of the flush mounted tent where it doesn't go higher.
I have a funny story.
A funny story? Okay, let's hear it.
You don't know where I'm going to go with this?
No.
We parked in a parking garage when we went downtown Chattanooga once, and we took my truck, and I have the GFC. And, there's a few extra inches of the solar panel and everything up there. And we're like, man, I hope we're going to fit. And we fit going up the ramp to get into the garage. And they have that little safety bar that's like, if you don't clear this bar, you're going to smack the roof. We just barely cleared it. And we're like, all right, we're fine. On the way back out, we did not clear it. I think it smacked into either my Starlink mount or a beef rack or something, or just when the truck is going back down, there was just enough of a bump back here that I pulled that whole thing down.
Yeah, it's it hangs from chains and it's got the tube that says the clearance.
Yeah.
And she clipped it and half the thing just fell down as dangling from one chain.
And then I dropped my credit card and I couldn't open my door because then the machine was there. I cried the whole way home.
I actually forgot about that. And yeah, that's a good thing to think about when you're building out a rig is clearance. One, if you work like Luke does, and you need to park in a parking garage or even your home garage, a lot of people want to have their vehicles inside their garage when they're not using them. So having that low clearance that doesn't go higher than the truck itself, the cab, is definitely something to think about. And then also you have to think about just off-roading. A lot of tree overhang on trails. How many times are you going through a trail and there's a down tree that's not on the ground, but it's hanging just above the vehicle height, and sometimes you got to like teeter to one side to be able to clear it because it's at an angle. And so clearance height wise is a big deal, as well as adding upward, what would you call that, just weight that is higher up. On most vehicles, especially off-roading, you want all your weight down below, so it keeps your center of gravity really low, which prevents rollovers and things of that nature. So I really love what Luke has done with this rig.
Yeah, I love the thought process
Yeah.
there. And I wouldn't have even thought about like, hey, let's try to keep this a little bit more level to the truck.
Aesthetically, I think it looks good when it's all level. And then also, like Luke was saying, he didn't want his tent being really long and going beyond the back of the truck, which, yeah, you just want to keep everything kind of like fit within that vehicle. So Luke, so far, love what you're doing here.
This tent is how easy it is to set up. It probably took me 3 minutes to get this thing set up. You just pop it open, the ladder stays attached, so pull the ladder out, and then you just put these bars in to get the rain fly propped up. And I also like how spacious it is inside. You can comfortably fit 2 people. And then there's also a light bar inside, so if it's dark in the morning or at night, I just use one of these Goal Zero power banks, plug it in, and I just keep the remote up there in the tent, and I can just turn the lights on and off super easily. A couple things that I don't like about the tent is the mattress. It's probably an inch or an inch and a half thick, so it's just not irregularable. So I thought about replacing that. And then also, I don't like how much condensation accumulates in the tent. That's probably more of a personal problem that I just need to figure out myself with like ventilation and whatnot. But it does get pretty wet in there, especially on chillier mornings. You wake up and the inside of the tent is pretty damp. So
condensation is always an issue in tents, rooftop tents, GFC tents. Although I will say with the V2 Pro, them adding the extra ventilation up top in the tent, both on the bottom and the top end of it, really helps a lot. And then another thing that I'm finding out quickly is very helpful is they added the headliner to the top there. So it creates, instead of a smooth surface that was the ceiling, you've got a headliner now that is fibrous. And so it doesn't tend to accumulate condensation, and you don't have that like dripping condensation. You're waking up in the morning just getting dripped on by all the breath that you expelled through the night.
That's yummy.
Yeah, it is not a great way to wake up, but it just takes a little bit of trial and error with tents. And usually there's a way, you might have to park in a certain way so that way you have a little bit of breeze coming through and you keep a cracked window on both sides. If you're in the wintertime, a diesel heater is a great option because it's dry heat and will actually evaporate and dry up all that condensation inside. So the worst thing, having a tent super wet, whether it rained outside or condensation all over the inside, and you have to pack it all up to keep going or down the road or whatnot. And then then you're like constantly thinking, oh, I got to open this back up sooner rather than later so things don't get moldy and musty and all that. So Luke, my suggestion there would be just play with windows. You don't have to open them entirely, but just enough to create some breeze. Also, just put a fan in there.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
Yeah, just put a fan in there, even if you don't blow it directly on yourself for cool air, but just something to move the air around would be super helpful. And then, of course, in the winter, diesel heater, super sweet setup. But let's continue on with Luke's video.
Other than that, it's been a really solid tent. You can add more rain flies on the bedside or on the cap side. But yeah, it's tougher than nails. I can run it through the car wash. Haven't had any water problems or anything like that. So looking forward to spending more nights in it. But yeah, I've been loving this setup.
Well, Luke, I think you've got a sweet rig. What are your thoughts on his rig?
I love I didn't catch the name of your cover, like your bed cover. That's awesome. I've never seen any kind of tonneau cover, bed cover that's not like kind of takes up the entire like edge of it.
The top of the rails.
Yeah, it's like really neat in there. That is a very cool looking thing that I've never seen before. I really like that. Just the tent. I think that's a great idea. And like he just said, he can go through the car wash. You can't do that with a GFC. That is not recommended. I don't know if it's because of like the overhang to the cab where they're worried about things like getting stuck in it. But you can't drive that through a car wash. And I mean, it's not a huge deal because normally they have like the self-service bay right next to it and you can go spray it down yourself. But sometimes like I can't reach the top of that very well. So it would be nice to be able to go through a car wash and like have the solar panel get cleaned off instead of then going to the gas station and grabbing one of the squeegees, opening the tailgate, standing on it to then clean it. So I think that's a huge perk for his setup. I really like that a lot. I like the whole thing.
I'm a big fan, Luke. I think if I were to do this Tacoma in a different route, being your type of setup, this is exactly what I would mimic. To your point, GFC does say not to take your Go Fast camper through the car wash. And, I don't know exactly why they say that. Like you said, it could be the bristles catching on the camper, but they're also pretty sturdy. So I don't know if that's really the problem or if it's more so the
intrusion.
Yeah, the direct pressurized injection of water into the camper that might be not so great. So super cool, Luke, that you have managed to create a vehicle that you can use on weekends or however you see fit to go adventure, but then also it fits into the rest of your life and it's not a hindrance to your job, being able to park wherever you need to in a parking garage. And then, like you said, go into the car wash. So I think cool rig, man. I would love to see where this thing ends up in the future and see what else you have in mind. The next truck camper that we're going to look at is my buddy Ben, who lives up in Massachusetts. If you guys don't know, live in Tennessee now, used to live up there. And Ben is a longtime friend and actually in the last, I want to say year, maybe 2 years, has gotten into truck camping. We were both into like lowered stance cars and have now found ourselves in the truck camping world. So it's very cool to see Ben pick up the hobby and see what he's done. So let's jump into Ben's video, which is not a Toyota.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Ben, and this is my 2021 Chevy Colorado LT. I just want to go around the truck and kind of show you guys around and tell you my favorite parts, my least favorite parts, and what could definitely be improved and what is perfect for me.
I'm seeing a theme here. One, this style of rooftop tent on the back of the truck with the rails, also the tonneau cover.
But see this, so this is what I was talking about in comparison to the other one. See how it like snaps over?
Yeah, it sits on top of the bed.
Yeah, the other one was like kind of like right in it.
I think that's a Toyota thing, like I was saying with the mounts that you guys have on the newer Toyota trucks. But
starting off, I have the Rome Adventure Co. Soft rooftop tent. Honestly, no complaints at all. I had a hard top for a while. And honestly, there wasn't enough space for my girlfriend and I, so we ended up upgrading to the Rome Vagabond, and we have not looked back since. This tent is unbelievable, super comfortable, and just super, convenient. It just packs down into such a small size for, what it is, and we honestly love it.
I don't know if you guys caught that on Ben's video, but he, on his bed rails that he has the tent resting on, he actually installed a couple of those little bubble levels for getting parked up. And that's something I honestly have been thinking about doing for my truck. I usually have to jump out, eye it, just kind of visually see how it's sitting. But to have little levels actually mounted on there would be really nice. So
if you had a newer Tacoma, they have the leveling feature on your dash and it's very nice.
And I don't want to bore you with old Toyota gear, but they do make, and I'm forgetting, it's like a version of an inclinometer that actually came in a lot of really nice Land Cruisers, even 4Runners. They never came in the Toyota truck, the Tacomas, but I've thought about trying to find a used Land Cruiser or old 4Runner inclinometer and try to figure out how I can install it that way. I don't even have to get out of the truck and I can see how level I am. So love that Ben just found a good place to put those.
Going along with that, I also have the Rome 95 liter hard case that we keep all of our bedding in for the tent. It's got a lot of storage, hydraulics. It's really nice. Nice rubber seal, keeps everything nice and dry.
That's super nice.
Love that. Yeah, love that.
One thing I would say is a con, and kind of going back to Luke's truck is you're adding a lot of height to the top there.
Mhm.
You know, each to their own. Maybe Ben, maybe you have a daily driver that you need for work, or maybe you don't even work isn't a phase or anything, but definitely a lot of added height there. But the being able to put all of your soft goods in there and knowing that they're going to be like watertight and sealed, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, because we haul stuff like in and out of the house. The sleeping bags we keep in the trucks, but the pillows we haul in and out because we don't want to risk them getting icky. Because the GFC it picks and chooses when it wants to be watertight. I feel like so.
True words.
Yeah.
Said.
So that is really nice to just have. It's like always on the truck. So that's just one less thing that it's like, okay, pack it in, pack it out, pack it in, pack it out.
I've thought about adding like a cheaper Harbor Freight case, like a rifle case, to the top of my camper. That way it could be used to store pillows, blankets, or possibly going a different route and storing tools and all that. But tools are heavy and you're adding a lot of weight to the very top of the vehicle. So Ben, I really like that you're not adding a lot of weight because you're just putting pillows and soft goods in there. And another benefit is everything stays fluffed up, whereas ours, especially our sleeping bags, you know, down blankets and stuff, they get cooked into compressed into stuff sacks, and then you have to kind of like shake it out. And honestly, it's not as good for the longevity of that gear to have it compressed like that.
3 strong latches, holds everything in there. And my Prinsu roof rack from CBI Off-Road. These are my Cali raised LED. What are they called?
Ditch lights.
Ditch lights. Sorry. Also did yellow film on my fog lights, as well as a 30-inch rough country light bar with the hidden mounts. I also have, I don't remember the brand, but these are aftermarket headlights.
Great lighting setup. You're covering a ton of bases. Ditch lights, you've got pointed, you know, a little bit angled to the side so you can see more of the trail. You've got the light bar seated down below, which is nice. A lot of people love to put their light bars up top, but it often creates a ton of glare on your hood. So great positioning there. So you've got light above, you've got light below, and then also the yellow film on the fog lights makes a huge difference, especially for literally fog and rainy conditions. If you guys don't know, yellow or more amber colored lights have an easier time pushing through weather versus your much more white or blue in color temperature lights. So the yellow, really great upgrade for the fogs.
Coming around to this side, I have the OVS 180 degree awning, which we love. I also have some rock lights on the side, which honestly is one of my favorite parts that I've added recently. It just gives you so much light at night. You can see what you're doing if you're cooking, anything like that. It's a really great addition. As for in here, this is where we keep all of our stuff, obviously. Have all our cooking supplies, hatchet, ropes, a little bit more bedding. As for my drawer system, I just have very cheap Walmart sliding totes. Works great. No need to buy a decked system when you can spend $10 on bins.
Love that, Ben. That's where we all start, and honestly, where some of us should stay. I think we all get a little bit too excited about drawers and locking drawers and sliders and adding fridge tilting gear and all this stuff. Sometimes really all you need to get out there is a $10 Walmart container, and it does the job, especially when he's got the tonneau cover that protects all that from rain, because obviously the Walmart totes aren't watertight. Yeah, but it gets you out there. It does the job.
One of the things we actually love is my Ignic 5-pound propane tank. This thing is a game changer when it comes to propane. I just got so sick and tired of buying the green bottles, and this thing has come in clutch. I fill it once per season for $10, and it lasts us the entire camping season. So 100% no complaints there. Also, our jet boil is something that we use all of the time, which is in this bin. It's just so convenient for, making quick, fast meals. And honestly nothing better out on the market.
One thing I'd be curious to know, Ben, is when you guys pull up to camp, are you undoing the tonneau cover and rolling it back so that way you can easily grab side access to stuff? Or do you leave it closed most of the time so that, and you know, that way you don't have to pull it open, close it, all that stuff, and you're just reaching in to grab stuff? I'd have to imagine that bed's probably 5 or 6 feet, so it'd be tough to get the stuff in the very back. Just something I'm thinking. And one reason I like the GFC with the side panels is I don't have to crawl into my bed every time I want to grab something that's up near the front of the truck bed near the cab.
That is my 2021 Chevy Colorado, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We got more coming to the truck, like a lift and some wheels, but this is how she sits right now. This is what the OVS 180 awning looks like out. I have a few mounting points up on my roof rack that I have for the tie-offs. And yeah, it's super spacious under here. In combination with the lights, everything's great under here. This is a great spot to chill, especially if it's raining, cook. Yeah, can't complain. This thing has been great. I usually mount some string lights or something to these poles, and it gives us plenty of light. I mean, those are bright enough, but you know, just in case.
What a cool setup, man. And I've had the pleasure of actually seeing Ben's truck now with his new wheels and a little bit of a lift, and it looks super good.
I want to see it.
I'll have to, I don't want to spoil it because we'll, hopefully if you guys enjoy this type of video, we're going to do more of these in the future and we can bring Ben back on and showcase what he's done for wheels and suspension. I also know he's in the market for a fridge. If you guys have a fridge you want to get rid of, leave a comment down below and I'll connect you with Ben because he is actively looking for a fridge setup. So any parting thoughts on Ben's?
I loved the awning and then the lights that are like up underneath it. I think that's awesome. I have an awning, I think it's like a 6x8. So it's a decent size, but it's just a normal straight out awning. I like this one so much more. I just think it makes camp that much easier to be in. It gives you so much more room. And I loved the lighting on it too. And it sounds like him and his girlfriend probably need to like road trip to come visit.
Fun fact, they are in fact planning a trip. They've already planned a trip.
Oh no, we're going to just miss them or something, right?
Well, it's up in the air.
Okay.
Well, we don't know yet. If you guys watched the last video, we're actively looking to move out of Tennessee to another part of the country, but we don't know exactly timing wise and everything else. So we may still catch Ben and his girlfriend down here and do a little truck camping together. But yeah, Ben, I love what you're doing with it. He's only been in the, you know, off-roading, camping, truck camping deal for, I want to say maybe a year. And he's come a long way and has honestly picked some very good gear without overdoing it. You know, between the Walmart totes, honestly, your lighting, you've got it down to a T, man, and I think that is a very cool setup. Now on to the next rig, which holds a special place in my heart. This is my buddy David, who lives not too far from us here in Tennessee. David actually is the one that purchased my old fiberglass topper that I had on the truck camper here before the Go Fast camper. So I used to have a fiberglass shell that I had totally sanded down, took all the windows out, repainted it to paint match the truck. And you'll see in his video that he also has a white Tacoma, so it just worked out perfectly. He also mimicked my old wooden truck build, and I think he actually did a better job than I did on it. So I'm excited to share with you, David, his truck, because again, it's first gen Tacoma with literally my old topper. So I love to see it getting used out in the wilderness.
This one should look a little familiar. 1998 Toyota Tacoma, 3.4 liter V6, 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive with a sunroof, may I add.
That doesn't go unnoticed. The sunroof, super rare on these first gen trucks.
Shell, Lear 122 from yours truly. And build out design, also pretty much from yours truly. Good design on that, Connor. Good video, you know, describing your measurements and everything, so it was easy to follow.
He's gonna go over that. I think.
Okay. All right.
But hold on, look, the outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think he gets there.
Okay.
If you guys are interested, if you have a first gen Tacoma and you are interested in doing that build out, I do have a ton of videos on it. One being a full walkthrough of that wooden build out for the first gen Tacoma, which could also just be replicated for other trucks. By the way, you just have to tweak the measurements. To his point, I made a whole measurements video describing literally all the cuts and how big all the pieces of wood were to make it fit in the first gen Tacoma. So if you're a first gen Tacoma person, want a wooden build out, I've got a whole video series on that. So I'll try and do my best to link it in one of these two corners here if you want to replicate it. It worked out great.
So if I may, it did fit a 2023 Tacoma as well. I think I maybe had to widen it a little bit, but I honestly don't even remember that I had to do that.
Cool. Yeah. So it might be useful for many of other trucks.
Didn't make many changes, so I followed your same drawer pullouts. I followed the same full bed kind of cutout you made. I did add a little power strip here that powers some accessories. That's kind of convenient. So I have my refrigerator here. It's a Amazon version of, I guess, a nicer one. But this thing has been awesome. We took 2-week camping trip out in Utah, and it did its job in the desert heat. So
yeah, very cool that he actually takes his truck all over. Like he goes out to Colorado and, like he said, Utah. Like we have, I want to say he's in one of the Carolinas, but I could totally be messing that up. So they use that truck and that truck camper for long-term trips and travel. And I really love that he added the power outlet switch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so clutch because I remember when I had that wooden build out, I was trying to constantly move wiring out of the way because I just had it running in the aisle to get to the power station, which was in the back. And that cleans it up immensely, as well as the fridge actually looks a lot like yours.
It does. I think that is my fridge. This whole build is very nostalgic for me because this was my first build when I had...
As was mine.
Yeah, and I've got it from his YouTube videos before I even knew him. I had just a normal fiberglass topper as well, and I built this in it. I have that exact fridge. I still have that fridge 2 years later, and it still runs like a champ. I love that outlet because even in the current situations that we both have, sometimes if you're on rough roads and stuff and things shift on the floor, you can smack into it, your cooler turns off, you have no idea until hours later, and now your meat is 60 degrees. So I think having it elevated up like that, there's just a lot less room for error.
True.
And it just looks clean too, which we both very much appreciate.
Yes, cleanliness in a camper is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is pretty much the same. Even put the little cubby in here for extra storage. I did add the reinforced standoffs.
Yeah, so what he's saying there is he added underneath that lid the little, what he calls standoffs, the little edges that hold that lid. I actually only did a standoff on 2 sides, and I like that he managed to do it on all 4 sides because mine never, you could sit on it and it would flex. It never broke on me, but I think adding the extra standoffs around the entire edge of that is a nice touch, man.
And sit on there.
it's not going anywhere. Put a rack on the top so I can carry my kayak or fly fishing gear, whatever it is. Got the Bilstein 5100s on it. Got the heavy duty Old Man Emu leaf packs in, so it's got a bit of a rake to it, but I kind of prefer it that way. So, yep, that's there.
Super nice setup, man. I like that you've taken my old fiberglass shell. I always thought about adding the rails on top so that way you could mount, like you said, your kayak or fishing gear or a solar panel, whatever you want. I was always hesitant to do it because I didn't love adding more height to an already high topper that sits higher than the cab of the truck. But I think you did what I was scared to do, and I think it came out really well, man. So I love seeing his rig. He didn't mention it, but he also carries mountain bikes a lot on the back of it, and so like hitch mounted. And so having your kayak, your fishing gear, your camper inside, as well as being able to have bikes on the back, it's a cool rig, man, and I think you've done a stupendous job with it.
Who is our final story?
Our final video comes from my buddy Joseph, and I've already kind of pre-watched some of these to not to spoil it, but sweet location that he filmed this at. So hope you guys enjoyed Joseph's rig.
All right, I know this is a little late. I finally got some time off. There's my buddy Aston. Here's a Tacoma.
Aston, I love that.
It's so cute.
Super
So cute.
Oh, okay.
Finally got to a spot I could film that's decent. This is about maybe 35-40 minutes away from my house. This is Galveston, which most people know it as, but this part is San Luis Pass. So here is my 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road. I have the Alpha Rex headlights. Let me let that focus. The Alpha Rex headlights. I have the Diodynamics fog lights. This is all about to be removed besides the headlights because I have a bumper coming from C4.
I want to point out something on the GFC that he has there. He placed his solar panel, closer to the truck. So, and I think he did it for the same reason that I did that with mine and we did with yours, is if you had that panel in the opposite side where it's sitting up really high at the top of the tent, it's a lot harder for those struts to push that up because the weight is so high versus the weight being so low. So I really like that.
These are Morimoto Pros. I might swap those out. They look decent, but I want to keep it all the same brand as Diode. Here are my Relation race wheels, RR7H 17s. On these are the 285 70 17s. I'll be going up in size on tires. The Yokohama Geolandar MTs.
Are those 33s then?
285 70 17, I believe, is like 33.
Joseph, I would love to know if you had to cut your frame of your truck at all.
You're jumping.
Dang it. All right, let's go.
These are the hybrid wheels. For suspension, I have Bilstein 8112s paired with Total Chaos fabrications, upper control arms, triple bypass shocks. I do have a cab mount chop.
I'm going to stop you there. So Morgan obviously wants to go up in tire size. She's rocking like 31s right now, wants to jump up to 33s. We've been told that you need to do a body chop in order to make that happen, which I think sounds more scary than it actually is. We actually ran into a third gen Tacoma owner the other day, and she had just a little puck spacer up front, which not necessarily ideal, but it does add a little bit of extra clearance there. But she only had to grind away a little bit of the body. So a lot of people have to cut it out, weld in a new plate, and that's where it kind of becomes scary if you're not a welder and, you know, doing that work or paying someone else to do that work.
Just hearing that I'm going to take my truck and chop part of the frame off to fit a bigger tire, it's like, okay, is that...
Yeah, it sounds worse than it is.
What are they called again? Body armor 4x4 rock sliders. These are very nice. I like them. Very nice. They fit the body line really well.
I love that those sliders, one, they angle upwards and they're very tucked, like he said. A lot of times people make them flat and then they come out like 6 to 8 inches from the actual part of the body of the truck, which you don't necessarily really need because that's going to be the first thing that hits rocks and whatnot. So I love that that is tucked, angled.
Like this is just actually protecting the truck. It's not, I feel like those other ones are a little bit more for aesthetic purposes or to also use as like a step to get up in the truck. But really when you want something like this, like you're just trying to protect the truck.
This is what I would try and make, just a very tucked in, minimalist rock slider that is going to do the job. You could stand on it, I'm sure, but it's doing its primary job, which is not adding a ton of width to the vehicle and then also protecting the body.
Kind of tucked in, still provide a lot of protection. On the backs, I do have the 8100s right here. And then the same wheels and tires right there. I do have the Icon RXT Leaf Pack in the back. And I do have a GFC right here. Beautiful views out today. In the back, I don't have the lighting kit yet, but I have the VN CLR little caddy right here. And excuse the charcoal. So this is my setup for the back. Let me back up a little bit. Right here, I have a cut deck. I cut this myself. I do have a small Ignic propane tank to run my jet oil.
I think I want to do that.
What's
That's the 5-pound propane tank so that we don't have to deal with the little 5-pounders anymore.
Well, that's always been the goal for me, and it's
I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm not
the
familiar with
5-pounder.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the way to go because they're refillable, just like the bigger 20-pound cylinders. But obviously, being 5 pounds, it's more than enough for a truck camper for most use case scenarios. But it's also refillable. I've been saying this, I feel like now for like 2 to 3 years is like I'm trying. I haven't bought the green canisters. My dad had a bunch and he doesn't go camping all that much anymore. So I took those off his hands and I've been trying my hardest to get through them. But I still have green canisters that we bought actually when I lived up in Massachusetts. We bought them in New Hampshire when we were camping almost a decade ago. And I'm still trying to use those. And when they're gone, 5-pound canister is going to be the way to go.
I cut this piece of wood out, rubber stall mat, and then a piece of plywood to make like a floor. And move this out the way. Like so. Some nice aluminum edging. Right here. So this is what I'm running. And this is very similar to if you've seen them arc off road. I have skillets, the Gerber pot set, some more pots and pans, seasonings, spoons, forks, Ziplocs, JetBoil for coffee, 2 small Yetis. I love these things. You can find them on sale at like TJ Maxx. They're awesome to snag. Seasonings here. I got avocado shortening.
I love the toolbox and the drawer system with the little caddy.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Very slick, and it looks like you probably just removed the top of the toolbox because obviously it's in a drawer, you don't need it. So that's very cool.
Coffee mugs. It's easy to clean. Those, I like the avocado shortening. It's easier to cook with and it doesn't really spill. Obviously, you got to have Dawn. Got to have the Dawn. With that, and I also like this too, Wilderness Wash by Sea to Summit. That's really good. And I have these. I like these little trash bags right here. They're like 3 gallons because I mean, if it's just you and a spouse, it's not a lot of, you're not making a lot of trash. And most of my stuff is washable. Underneath this cast iron, I do have that Gerber cutting board knife set. I really love that. Obviously the JetBoil Genesis, a staple to this setup. Takes up less space. I recommend it to everybody.
I noticed he still has a green canister. I'm wondering, maybe he's trying to get rid of it, just never uses it because he's got the 5-pound, or maybe that's just a backup, which is never a bad idea if you did run out, or you run into a fitting issue or something on the 5-pound where you can't get it to expel the gas, and could be just a backup, but I just had to point that out.
Let me check on my dog real quick. He's still right here. I have a Renogy 100-watt solar panel on the beef bars, and that is ran through the inside right here to a waterless port. I don't know if you can see it. And then it's like right here. And then I have a max air fan cut into the top of the GFC roof.
Speaking of condensation, that is you don't need anything else. That max fan would eliminate all condensation.
That's the first thing I noticed when he like panned out, and I saw that and I'm like, oh gosh, that'd be so nice. Because honestly, like this looks like the same as mine. It's same color tent. Looks like it's also a V2, not a V2 Pro. I've got water leaking issues anyway, so why not punch through the roof? I've taken the roof out once, and honestly, it's just like a, what do you call it? Like corrugated plastic.
Yes.
So worst case, like you put in a new one. If
you can totally
if something happened like that. But
yeah,
that fan that's very smart.
I was never wanting to do a fan cutout like that because they do add, maybe 2, almost 3 inches of height, depending on which one you go with, of course. But now that we both have the solar panels and the roof racks up there, which are now already adding that same amount of height, could be a good idea to find a really nice flush mounted Max type or Air Max, whatever they're called, type fan to really solve that. Because right now we just put a fan, which does work. We just hang a fan in the camper. It does the trick, but that is a nice solution that you don't have to carry around all the time.
Okay, let me open this pass-through because I got some stuff. Usually I do have the fridge back here And here, I have it in the inside, I'll show you. But this is my solar cord. I have it ran down through there, through here. This is the max air fan plug too. Plugs into my EcoFlow. What else? I do have the upgraded bed that I recommend this if you are a GFC owner. Let me get up here. Obviously, got to have the mountain hatch. It's a staple for Toyotas.
Yeah, I'm super jealous of the tailgate mountain hatch, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, you can buy it for yours. I don't think they make it for the first gens. So what I've honestly thought about doing is finding a cheap piece of like someone selling some stainless plate metal material and cutting it out and then basically just using the existing screw holes to mount that down. So that way it could be easily cleaned, could act as a cutting board. But I definitely like that.
I have the Hest replaceable. Everything's all Hest up here. Obviously with the Overland soft goods sheets and such. I do want to upgrade my tent fabric to the Tangerine Dream. I got some little lights that run in here. It's kind of nice. Provides a nice aesthetic.
I wonder why you do want to change it. I'm just curious. I love the Tangerine Dream because it ties into my taillights, all the orange lighting on the vehicle, and I think it just ties it all together really nicely. But I'm curious why you want to go from gray to Tangerine. Obviously, yours is gray, and I think you're taking probably notes on his mattress setup right now.
Yeah, that, and I honestly really like how he put the solar wiring in. Mine, we use, there's a little like hatch in the 3rd gen, and it's in the bed of the truck near the tailgate. I think it's just supposed to be like a little storage box, but there's already holes in it, so like it would get dusty in there and stuff. I'm like, all right, well, might as well just take the cover off, and we just drilled a hole through it. So my solar wiring goes like down the side of, well, I don't know if you can see my truck. It goes kind of in between the what'd you call it, like the bulkhead area.
Cab and the
Yeah. And then it runs down, and then we have it zip tied to the frame, and then it goes up into the bed through that little hole.
Yeah.
But now I have a lot of dust and stuff that always is accumulating in that area because it's not sealed as well as it could be. I love this idea. Everything is just right inside the camper. I really, really like that a lot.
Yeah, and I know GFC is with their new V2 Pro Max that they're coming out with. I believe they're now offering a port that allows for solar wiring as well as other wiring components to run through into the camper. So that would be cool to see. I know plenty of companies make parts that you could, cut out one of your panels and recreate that. But we'd love to see what GFC ultimately comes out with. And also if they are going to make it purchasable for older generations like what we have, the V2 Pro and the V2 Go Fast campers.
Here is my set power fridge. I do have a Rumple blanket right here. This Jackery I actually got for free from my job. I don't power the fridge, only when I go grocery shopping. I actually use the fridge to grocery shop.
That is such a perk.
We do that too.
Yeah, we do that. We do that as well. Like, because when you go out to go grocery shopping, like sometimes we'll go to the gym, we'll go run some errands, and then we're also grocery shopping. Whereas before, what we would do is save grocery shopping till the very end. That way the groceries didn't get warm or soil any of the food before we actually got home. And if the grocery store is kind of like out of the way, it's kind of annoying if you're running all your errands and then you have to go out to the grocery store versus like doing that first and then working your way back towards home, which is what we do. And so we use both of our fridges occasionally if we're in that scenario, and we can go grocery shop, put everything in there in the fridge, and know that it's going to be good while we're working out for an hour and a half at the gym and running the rest of our errands. By the time we get home, everything is like it just came out of the store. So that is a major benefit to having a fridge in your truck camper.
4-wheel drive recovery, and then I do have a Morphlate compressor right here. And here's to the front, little buddy. Okay, I got some patches. Obviously, no. Most people have patches. I have the bulletproof mounting solutions. I do have a crack in my windshield. I'm running a radar, stock radio. Got the Dragon Ball shift knob, even though it's an automatic, it's okay. Yeah, regular seats, regular interior. That is the wife's sleeping pillow when we do road trips. Yeah. Here's a good shot right here. Yeah, like that. It's beautiful weather out here. Oh, I forgot to mention, I do have a vent. I'll show y'all real quick. There you go. Got the vent on there.
I'll stop right there because I think it piqued both of our interests. So one issue with the GFC is positive pressure. So it loves to suck dust and just debris into the camper when you're driving. And so adding that positive pressure vent is what I believe they call it, relieves that pressure. So it equalizes the pressure from the inside to the outside. So that way, even though you have a vent open, it's actually not pulling in as much dust, which is really cool. And if you're camping down below without the tent popped in a stealth camping type of situation, you have a panel you can open and let fresh air in, maybe put a fan up against it. And that's something that I've thought about adding to mine. I'm just waiting for the right scenario or the right product to find where, one, it acts as a vent. Two, I'd love it to also be a port for the diesel heater to run into. And then also I'd love it even more if it was also a place where wiring could run in. And maybe that wouldn't work on the side panel. I haven't really thought it all through yet, but super nice upgrade.
I really like it as well. My biggest concern and complaint with the GFC is the dog. So, if we're down in this last camping trip when we were in Connors, we had the diesel heat kind of coming down to make sure that Hank stayed warm, which is great. But in the summer, sometimes it is so hot. And when we took our road trip this past summer, we had to end up going over to mine. So Hank and I slept up in the top of mine, and then Connor slept up in the top of his just because there's not room for all three of us up in the top of one of them because the bottom gets so hot during the day. My panels, like Joseph's, are also black. So when you're cruising down the highway, that it's like 110 degrees back there. It is very hot. It takes a long time to cool down. So to be able to have those, I would just wonder when he opened his, say you're driving, it'd be going into the wind. So would that eventually break off the little hatch on there? Should it be turned around so the air's, or at that point, would it not really work,
Yeah, so it's a little more aerodynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I guess it kind of depends on the structural design of that piece. I don't know what that's called, but I've seen a lot of GFC owners install something just like that. So
Yeah, so Joseph, I would love to know, do you keep that open when you drive at all, or is that just when you're stationary? Because even if we had to put Hank back there for some reason while we're driving, he and I actually rode in the bed of it on the way home one day, and it's not airtight, so you can still breathe. I never felt like we were gasping for air by any means, but you're not really getting flow the way you would with windows. And lately I've honestly been considering putting a camp window, an actual slider the traditional fiberglass ones have, because it is really a huge downfall to not have anything like that.
And if you guys have been watching my channel, you know that's one of my biggest complaints, even with the GFC V2 Pro, which this is not old. They just came out with the Max, but this is really the newest style camper GFC made. And they are just now with the Max coming out with a slider window up near the cab of the truck, which I just can't wrap my head around why they didn't do that from the get-go, but I'm sure they have their reasons. But I don't believe it's going to be plug and play if you have an older camper like we do. And they are telling me that you'd have to replace the entire aluminum panel all at once, which is not impossible, nor probably all that difficult. Probably more expensive because then you have to get the new panel, the slider window. The panel has to be paint matched to your powder coated panels, and so it's.
Well, and then you're gonna have to take the whole GFC off.
And you got to take the
GFC. Very
GFC
difficult
and put it
heavy.
back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it honestly might just be easier to get some slider windows, cut them out, and add them to both sides of the GFC panels. So. Joseph, I think we're going to be talking to you about your vent.
That's it. If y'all have any more questions, I guess just let me know. HTXTRD on Instagram. Peace.
Super cool, man. Very relatable to both of our builds. And I think you've got some stuff going on between the wiring and the ventilation that we want to are taking notes on, but want to learn more about. Final thoughts on Joseph's rig?
really like it. For me, the highlights are just the wiring, how clean it is, and how it's tucked right into the camper, and the fan.
Yeah. He's got ventilation.
I said just like ventilation in general for him. Yeah.
Mhm. Can't say enough about all these rigs. I think it's cool to see what other people are doing, and that is ultimately how I come up with a lot of my ideas, is hopping on the YouTubes or the Instagrams and just going nuts and researching what other people are doing. And so I wanted to basically have some of my friends come out and show their rigs, so that way you guys maybe get some ideas for yourself. And obviously we've got some things that maybe we want to take action on here after watching these videos. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to leave a thumbs up. It really goes a long way in helping this channel grow and find other people who are like-minded and would love to watch it. And then any thoughts, comments, concerns, be sure to let me know down in the comments section, as well as where you're watching from. I always love to find out. And with that being said, both Morgan and I, and Hank, who has disappeared, we'll see you in the next video. So keep elevating, my friends. Love you all. Adios.